There is a very important lesson that I learned in my walk with God and my life the last 10 years. God has unlimited power and unlimited, unconditioned love. But the restriction on that manifesting in the story of mankind is you and I. We are the problem. You see that energy, that power, it needs a vessel, a tunnel, to manifest here in this world, from the realm of light into the realm of matter, from the source of creation to the action of human life. And this tunnel sends a perfect whole light into it. But as it travels along that tunnel, little walls are built, and that doesn't block the whole tunnel, but it blocks enough that the light is left bouncing and refracting around inside. And that vessel in that tunnel is you and I. We are the embodiment of God's power if we allow it. We are the embodiment, the encasement of God's love in a physical action form if we allow it. Those walls that are being built are coming from the lack of surrender, the person inside. The fear, the doubt, the lack of faith. It's all building an extra wall in the tunnel. Most of us don't believe. We are selfish. If you really believe that God is there and is going to answer and manifest what you pray for, wouldn't you be doing it all the time? And if you're not doing it all the time to try and see the world that you wish to see around you for your loved ones, for yourself, and for further afield beyond their community, for the whole world even, why aren't you spending all of your time there in the presence and in that power of prayer? Is it that you've misunderstood prayer? And so you're calling out, please sort this out, because that's not how it is. The power will come through you to sort it out. The resources of the world are stockpiled here. Those in need are here. Those crying out for support and help, God help me. And God hears, God sees, but how does God get resources from A to B? Human hands and feet. The blockage between it is merely the selfish nature of humans. The human hands and feet are not moving towards right compassionate action. They are not doing it because they are filled up with the person and its fears and its doubts and all of those desires for the world, worldly things and so on. And so they don't move over with the resources. And if a Christ were to manifest in the world today, it's as if a human appears in a puff of smoke. No memories, no desires, no opinions, just there, a human brain, body, heart, free to be lit up instantaneously from the realms of the heavens and its will, and perform right compassionate action here and now as a vessel for that, for the Christ, for that unconditioned love, that power of God. And so for us to have any inclination of manifesting that power, we must become close to that. We must try and engineer ourselves so as our tunnel, our vessel is close to that of something that just appeared in a puff of smoke without memory, without opinion, without judgment, without fear. That way, and when the light comes through the tunnel, the vessel you are, it will travel through the other end and be as bright when it gets to the other end as it was at the beginning. God's unlimited power that comes into the beginning of that tunnel is only restricted by our lack of presence and our lack of prayer. And I reiterate, it's not about calling out, please sort this out. It's about getting in presence and allowing the power of God to light you up, the love of God to light you up, as an expression. The love of God is a force beyond this realm, but here in the human format, it wishes to express as a human life. And you can either let it or not. You can either engineer yourself to allow it or not. And I can say this is fact now in my life. This is not an idea, it's fact. This is how it works. I get very selfish. I question things. I might need to help someone or do something, and I come in and do I have enough resources for that? Or should we do that just in case we don't get this? Or maybe God won't come through. And God's power is right there saying, what are you doing? Why are you diluting my power with this person, with this intellect, with this mind? Why aren't you walking in the purity of faith? Why aren't you there lit up, roaring like a lion, knowing the belief and the faith is what is going to bring that love manifest, that compassion manifest into every given moment that you can touch as a being? Rather though, God is watching and listening to the selfishness, which is the refracting the light passing through the tunnel like a ping pong. So by the time this glorious light that comes in and its purity that we all are, that you see in a baby's eyes, and you see it coming, by the time it gets to human action, it's dull because it's been bouncing around inside the fears and the ideas and the person. The brain needs to be free so it can wash over and perform action. And right now it washes in and it goes off this way into the fear, into the doubt, into the desire. We must engineer ourselves. We must take down these walls in our tunnel so the power of God, so you can be an embodiment of that power. This is your birthright. This is your calling. This is why we are here. We must engineer our tunnels to be clean for that light to come through as clean as we can get them. And it will come through. The Apostle Paul said, 3 times I pleaded with God to take away an illness that he had, a thorn in the flesh. And God replied and said, no. For when you are weak, my power is made perfect in you. When you are weak and you are sick, your heart opens up. Because the person is quiet, the mind is quiet. Because when you are not sick and you are not weak, what happens? You think you have control. Everything's going to go exactly how I, as a conjured image of who I am, somehow this image of who I am that I've conjured, that didn't have any say in how I manifest in this world or how I grew in my mother's womb, it's got control. It doesn't. A war can break out tomorrow as we see in this world today. Poverty can strike you, illness can strike you. And when it does, you're left in a state of surrender because you're left in a forced humility. And in that forced humility, the arising of that lighting up of Christ's power will come. And when it comes, it will light you up and guide and direct the vessel that you are with its earnest desire to express unconditioned love in human form through as many vessels as it can here. Power is made perfect in you when you are weak, because when you are weak, the image of the self, the person in your mind is gone and your heart is there to take over it. And it is from the heart that God will work in that great, wonderful, abundant power that you can be the embodiment of in this world. And if you truly believed that your prayers will come to pass, which they do when you pray from presence, they do. They happen, they manifest. It actually happens when you stay present and free of the person and you energetically align and connect to it. Not words and babble, but energetic connection. Yes, here I am with God, centered with God. Now start. This is the intention. This is what we will build. This is what we will change in the world. When you get to that alignment and you see it manifesting, there's no other place you want to be. And if you believe, then why are you not doing it? And if your desire for pleasure is larger than that desire, you need to spend time in presence to wash that side of you away. Because many, you see, they don't have the presence. They hear about it. It makes sense to the mind, but it stays there. It stays in the game of the mind. It doesn't become the embodiment of the life force that you are. And so it seems dull to pray because you don't get results. But I'm telling you, the power of God needs one thing: clean vessels to work through. You are the hands and feet of the power of God. I am. We are innately selfish by our nature. So we must engineer something into us to make sure that we have more right, compassionate action. God's grace is forever, His love is forever. It's yours. But His ability to use you as a tool in this world, and your ability to walk in that high vibration of love and righteousness, is all dependent on how clear your tunnel is, saved by grace or not. If that tunnel is full of thought and fear and doubt, saved by grace or not, the light you exude as an expression of God's love in this world will be very dull in comparison to that person who has emptied their tunnel to the best of their capacity. God bless, guys. Be well. This is not my opinion. This is a fact. Try it for yourself. I'm telling you, this is a fact. You are the vessel of God's power and God's love in this world, if it is to express in the story of mankind. That love exists all around you, but to express through the action of a human in its totality, that's where we come in. Be well, be mindful, be peaceful, be in presence, and feel that love. God bless.
Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. What you'll find when you look into your imagination will begin with a spin, traveling in the world.